Being a top 1% student in the Philippines, what is that like? A street interview with a lot of different people here who have experienced that. And honestly, I'm really curious to see it. A lot of you guys have linked it over, so without further ado, come join me. Let's go.
Hey bosses, it's Kay from Asian Boss. Regardless of which country you're from, you might think that those getting into top universities are set for life, because that means you'll probably get high-paying jobs in big companies straight out of college, right? Or does it? In our other street interviews, we heard from top college students from countries like Korea and Japan. But what about the Southeast Asian countries like the Philippines? What does it mean to get into top universities in the Philippines? And
you know what's scary is a lot of the time when people do get out of school in this situation, like they instantly go to a job. And I've heard this from my friend because he actually was an incredible student. And the thing is it actually was still incredibly difficult because you still have to work your way up. It's almost like starting from zero, even though you've achieved these incredible things as a student. It's still incredibly difficult.
How worried are students about their future and local economy? Our Asian Boss reporter was able to visit the University of the Philippines, arguably the most prestigious university in the Philippines, and speak to some students there.
Oh, and it's so hard to get there.
Here is what they had to say.
Anong kurso ang kinukuha mo at saang universidad ka kabilang?
VA Film and UP Diliman.
BS Chemical Engineering po from UP
Wow.
Diliman po.
Sa Biochem po yung course ko sa University of the Philippines, Manila campus po.
Kinukuha ko po ay BA Speech Communication sa University of the Philippines, Diliman campus.
Para sa mga manonood natin sa ibang bansa, gaano ba kaprestiyoso ang UP?
Very,
Siguro
right?
familiar po tayo dun sa concept na yung Big Four, which is UP, Ateneo, LaSalle, and UST. Para po sa mga nasa ibang bansa, ang UP po ay kilalang top university in the Philippines.
It is a really prestigious university. It
Yeah.
is home to many Philippine presidents, Supreme Court justices, and several lawmakers. At hindi lamang po yan, nakaproduce ng UP ng maraming mga national scientists and national artists dito sa Pilipinas.
Pag sinabi natin prestigious, pasok sa Western standard. Pag kina-compare mo lang sa ibang schools dito sa Philippines, pasok siya. Pero pag sa ibang bansa, baka hindi pasok sa standard nila.
Mahirap ba makapasok sa UP?
Because some are way higher in standard, is that correct? Like more so, it might be different in Japan, might be different in US, right? Like the standards or how much more difficult it might be may be different, but this is some of the best. And I've seen actually so many incredible like lawmakers, obviously like he mentioned, and incredible engineers that come from there that have actually transitioned into Western societies and have done insane jobs, new inventions, things like that, which is really cool to see.
Yes po, mahirap kasi I have friends din po na super taas na din ng grades and they still did not make it. Yung UP grade po nila is not enough para po sa makapasok sa UP Diliman. I think umabot siya ng more than 120,000 applicants if I remember it correctly. Tas around 10,000 lang din yung pumasa.
Actually, parang narinig ko po mga 10%. 10 to 15% of the takers yung mga nakapasa.
Parang nabanggit ng proctor namin doon, nasa mga 160,000 something kami. Tapos yung mga nakapasok, mga nasa 20,000, oo. So, malala talaga yung competition.
Ano ba ang kwalifikasyon para makapasok sa UP?
There's like a specific grade qualification sa year ko, pero before it was UPCAT, which is the UP College Admission Test, and high school grades. Pero nung sa akin, it's grades from grades 9 to 12 lang. And if we're talking about time, siguro on a personal experience, dati in one day nag-aaral ako mga 2 to 3 hours lang. Pero nung parang inisip ko na gusto kong pumasa ng UP at pumasok ng UP talaga, from like 2 to 3 hours, naging 4 to 6 hours
almost doubled.
minsan. And I had to study really hard sa last 2 years ko sa high school para makapasa ako ng UP.
Pag malaman ng iba na taga-UP ka, ano ang nagiging reaction nila?
May mga nag-iisip na, mga taga-UP, aktivista yan. Meron naman iba, mga taga-UP, bright yan. So, marami.
Talaga ba?
I would think you're bright.
Ka. Pag tinatanong ko, saan ka nag-aaral? Sa UP. O edi, top 1 ka nung high school ka, ganyan.
So, anong nararamdaman mo pag sinasabi nila yun?
I feel good, right?
Parang hindi ko deserve.
Oh.
kasi kilala ko sarili ko.
Bakit naman hindi mo deserve? Nakapasok ka nga sa UP, di ba?
Kasi nung high school ako, bonak ako eh.
You know what it might be? It might be imposter syndrome. That happens a lot with even like successful people or celebrities. Like if something happens to them that is very like incredible, for example, a lot of the time like you would experience imposter syndrome, which it feels like, man, this isn't true. Like this actually can't be me, or this can't be real that it's happening to me. So this happens a lot with students too, like people who get accepted into crazy universities, Harvard, or in this case, UP. In the Philippines, some of them experience imposter syndrome, like, man, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. But you did what it takes. That's the reality. And sometimes they need those people to push them and to make them realize, hey, you deserve this. Let's not forget that, because that's how you get somebody out of imposter syndrome, because it can be dangerous, imposter syndrome. But I'm not saying that she has it completely, but that is like a sign of it. You know, you feel like you don't deserve it. It feels like, this ain't really like, you know. See what I mean? She's kind of putting herself down, but in reality, she's incredible, you know?
There's a general assumption that we're leftist-leaning or stuff like that. Pero there's a lot of different perspectives in UP and a lot of ways to learn about it naman in UP.
Being a UP student has a connotation with ay quote-unquote NPA ka, terrorista ka, komunista ka, which to me I disagree with, because the UP has produced so many colorful people.
Yeah, you can't generalize
especially ranging from on the left with Joe Masison to the extreme other side with Ferdinand Marcos Sr. So it's not true that, you know, the university produce people of a certain political stance.
Ano ba ang kadalasang nagiging trabaho ng mga taga-UP pagkatapos nila gumraduate? Saan larangan usually?
Yung based po sa observations ko usually, pag UP student, most likely mag-work po sa government.
Oh, wow. Kung hindi po sila pupunta sa government, mangingibang bansa or sa mga NGOs po, just like focus talaga in helping the yung mga nasa laylayan to reach talaga yung mga tao. Ayun po. Tapos yung iba din naman po, may mga ibang napupunta sa mga companies,
with big companies as well.
Iba't iba po talaga yung larangan na pupuntahan ng mga UP students.
Alam ko maraming na-produce na mga engineers.
Yes, I've heard about this the most.
Medical professionals, ang mga students
Incredible.
ng UP. And I know may ilan din na part ng businesses, magbuo sila ng sariling business. And of course, marami sa mga taga-UP talaga, at the end of the day, nagsisilbi sa gobyerno. For example, I have a professor who is working in a certain government position.
Wow.
Ayun, it gives us an insight, you know, to how to serve the people.
Yeah, with the experience,
estudyante sa nangungunang universidad ng Pilipinas, nag-aalala ka ba na makahanap ng trabaho pagkatapos mo?
Most definitely.
Hindi.
What?
Bakit hindi ka nag-aalala?
Kasi pag nakatapos ka dito sa UP at meron kang diploma ng UP, baka pag-agawan ka pa paglabas mo dito.
Wow.
Ako po,
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Nag-aalala pa rin kasi talaga hindi po natin alam kung anong mangyayari. Pero medyo kampante pa rin po ako in some way kasi mag-graduate po ako as a UP student. And
I actually was like gonna say, like, what she just said is actually a perfect example of what I was thinking at first. Like, you would still be worried, but maybe that's just me and my instincts. Like, still be worried because you never know what's gonna happen in the future. But then the other girl's very like chill. I say, hey man, you know, when you get this, bro, you set. Period. But then again, you know, there is always that chance that some like don't even care about it, which happens here in the U.S. It's happened in other countries as well. But I think for sure I'd still be a little bit like worried if I was them. But hey, she still feels at ease, which is good.
Mag-graduate po ako as a UP student and iba po talagang reputation ng isang UP student dito sa Pilipinas.
I can say na may advantage kasi may kakilala ako na nag-apply for managerial work, get fresh grad. Pero galing UP, tinanggap siya. Kaysa yung iba, hinanapan ng mga experiences, ganon.
And I think talagang worrisome ang paghahanap ng trabaho kahit regardless kung anumang university ka galing. Yeah. Siguro may edge din talaga kung galing kang sa top university.
I've had a lot of friends like that, yeah. Very worried.
Makakakuha ka agad given the situation ng ekonomiya natin ngayon.
May sapat bang oportunidad sa trabaho ang mga taong may mataas na pinag-aralan?
To a certain extent, yes, but not everyone talaga kasi in the experience of my peer, may kilala siyang nag-graduate valedictorian top of their class, pero right now is not even working in the field na pinagtrabahuan nila. The person is working in like the service industry.
This happened with my friend here in the US as well. Like, he was literally valedictorian, the best, did everything, studied as a law person, and still wasn't able to even get through all the way there. And I remember he was the most worried out of everyone, even though he was the best. And like, there was other ones who were horribly failing, of course. The ones that are horribly failing are very, very like, they're just ignorant to their situation, so they're kind of just chilling. They don't even care. They just smiling and goofing off. But then he was the most stressed because he was the most focused and trying to be the best, and he was valedictorian. But even now, he's not even doing that. I don't even know actually where he is, but I know he's not doing that because the last time I heard about him was about like a month or two ago, and he wasn't doing that. And you know what I mean? Like, things like that happen, and it's scary, bro, seeing how much stress he put into it, which I guarantee happens with these top 1% students. It's a lot of pressure that you put on yourself mainly. That it's a lot on yourself, and of course, probably from family and things like that, because even with him, that friend that I mentioned, he as well had pressure from his family. So these things add up, you know?
Kahit like nag-valedictorian siya in like a writing course. So there's no like sureball way kahit nakapagtapos ka ng high scores and nakapagtapos ka ng university.
Sa palagay ko po sa ating bansa ngayon, parang mas sumasang-ayon pa ako na hindi po. Kasi sa nakikita ko po, mostly po na nakapag-graduate po dito, like napipilitan po talagang mga ibang bansa kasi nga po mababa po yata yung sahod.
Iniisip mo bang magtrabaho sa ibang bansa pagkatapos mo?
Pwede, kasi since mas malaki yung sahod sa ibang bansa bakit hindi?
At some point in the future, kailangan ko mag-abroad. 8% ang naging inflation rate dito sa atin nitong nakaraang buwan. So nakakalungkot, no? So kung hindi talaga naaagapan ng gobyerno ang sitwasyon natin ngayon sa ekonomiya, baka there will be a point na kailangan ko talaga mag-abroad para makatulong sa aking pamilya. Pero I would like to apply my skills first after I graduate in serving the people of the Philippines. The reason for that is, siyempre, kami ay binayaran ng mga mamamayan ng Pilipinas upang makapag-aral dito. So, as a favor, I would like to really serve them in the field that I will choose after I graduate.
It's like a form of respect, yes.
I am the panganay po sa family namin, and ako pa yung inaasahan nila to support my siblings. Kaya if there's a chance na magkaroon ng mas mataas na sweldo, even if it's abroad, at this moment, parang yung pag-iisip ko po is to go with that para lang po makatulong din sa family ko.
Sa tingin nyo, nakakabuti ba o nakakasama na marami ang nangingibang bansa sa Pilipinas?
Ako po, para sa akin, kahit na gusto ko pong magtrabaho abroad, ayun po, masama po siya kasi bibigay po kayong example, yung scientists natin, yung mga magagaling nating scientists, nag-work po sila abroad at nakakapag-contribute sila sa mga countries abroad. Instead of working here in the Philippines and contribute to the Philippines to its development. Ayun po, nasa abroad po sila.
It's like using that intelligence for other countries rather than staying in the Philippines and providing that. I still think it's very honorable, them doing that, the scientists leaving and seeing the, providing that for other countries is very beautiful. We can't go ahead and just hate them, but she is making a very valid point, in my opinion. Like, I can see why she would say that, because if you provided that knowledge, your intelligence, because there's so many incredibly intelligent, phenomenal Filipinos that are engineers, some of the best inventors. And if they stayed in the Philippines, who knows what they could have provided. But always the issue, like the other guy mentioned, inflation, a lot of different things like that. But that knowledge is really the most powerful because of what they could have done for the Philippines in that sense. So I see exactly what she's saying.
Nakaka-benefit sa kanila, sa mga magagaling nating scientists, ay yung mga tao sa ibang bansa. So, ayun po.
I agree with her din po. Dito sa Philippines, honestly, napakadami po ng great minds natin. Pero ang nakakasad lang doon is, nare-realize nila na hindi sila masyadong nag-flourish in our country.
For example, yung mga farmers natin, dito napakalit ng sahod. Pero yung mga tao, na-educated dito sa Pilipinas, nagpa-farm sa Japan, napakalaki ng sahod. Kaya dapat suportahan talaga yung mga industriya natin dito sa Pilipinas para makapag-produce tayo ng quality jobs, better jobs, para masenso din naman tayo. Hindi lang yung ibang bansa na ginagamit ang Filipino manpower.
Hindi ko masabi na nakasama or nakabubuti, pero kasi po walang choice yung mga tao dahil kulang na kulang yung mga oportunidad sa Pilipinas. And this just speaks a lot about the administration or how kung ano yung sitwasyon ng Pilipinas ngayon na dapat nabibigyan ng sapat na trabaho yung mga tao. Pero hindi yun yung nangyayari. So, lumilipad sila sa ibang bansa. And we cannot blame them for that.
Madali bang makakuha ang bawat isa sa atin ng kalidad na edukasyon dito sa ating bansa?
Hindi patas. Kung mayaman ka naman, pwede ka makapag-aral eh. Pero kung mahirap ka at wala ka namang pera, and still wala ka pa rin
that happens a lot.
Knowledge na makapag-aral sa mga gatong universidad, wala talaga.
Dapat ang education is a right, hindi siya privilege. So, dapat lahat ng tao ay merong access sa education. Hindi siya dapat porket mahirap ka, hindi ka na makakapag-aral. Hindi. So, ang challenge sa atin sa gobyerno na dapat magkaroon lahat ng access sa education, hindi lang para sa mga may kaya.
If titignan nyo po yung Philippines, maraming places na mountainous. So, yung mga mamamayan doon, parang mahirapan silang mabigyan ng magandang modality for learning, which is nagiging setback for our young kids.
Bakit sa tingin nyo naging ganito ang sitwasyon natin sa Pilipinas?
At least sa napansin ko, in my opinion, parang iba po yung binibigyang pansin ng gobyerno na parang during the past administration, parang naging focus po is yun nga sa laban sa droga, and parang masyado pong napunta doon yung pagtutuon ng gobyerno na yung ibang aspects po na dapat pahalagahan gaya ng edukasyon at science and technology parang na-left behind po dahil mas nabigyang pansin yung isa.
I see what he means.
Paano masusolusyonan ang kinakaharap natin na problema tungkol sa pagkakaroon ng bawat isa ng dekalidad na edukasyon?
Siguro po, una, paglalaan po ng budget ng gobyerno. Mas mataas na budget ng gobyerno sa pag-aaral.
Problema yan ng Department of Education eh. Kung ako ang tatanungin, dapat lahat may opportunity. Siguro magsisimula sa pag-aayos ng mga eskwelahan dito sa Pilipinas at pagtaas ng sahod ng mga teachers para rin ma-encourage sila na magturo.
I think it really starts with accountability and responsibility from the people who have the power to give quality education. Because starting from them, if they are able to give good education to more people, then that's really the start. Kasi tayong mga normal students lang, tayong mga mamamayan lang, we can't really do much. We can't really educate everyone. We don't have the means, and we also don't have the practices to be able to do that. Kasi we're still small people. Kailangan ng collective group para gawin yun, but it's much easier if it starts with the people who have power.
Even with the community,
mahalaga ba ang makapagtapos ka ng kolehiyo?
Not really, sorry. Pero
Bakit?
Depende yan sa tao. Hindi lahat ng tao ay gusto mag-college or pwede sa college. Kasi yung iba nagpo-focus sa skills, ganyan, rather than the degree.
Sa palagay ko po, marami naman po kasing naging successful at basta successful po sa kanilang buhay kahit hindi po sila nakapagtapos ng kolehiyo. May mga bagay po talaga na madadaan lang po talaga sa diskarte at konting luck po.
If you're going to have a business, I think yung mga seminars, training will do. Mga ganun. So, it's optional para sa akin.
Kung may babalik mo ang oras, gusto mo pa rin bang makapag-aral sa kolehiyo o iba na ang tatahakin mong landas?
Siyempre mag-aaral pa rin talaga tayo. Learning never stops eh. Kahit na nakagraduate ka na ng college, meron ka pa rin matututunan.
Tatahakin ko pa din po makapagtapos sa college. Kasi po, yun nga, cliche man siya, but education is power.
It's true, even if it's cliche facts.
Kasi lahat naman ng ginagawa natin, it boils down to what we have learned. Not only sa school, but also sa lahat ng challenges natin in life. And advantage talaga na meron tayong napag-aralan.
Absolutely love that video. It really shows you an insight on exactly what exactly is going on. For example, with the students, some of them having a little bit of a different opinion, but at the same time still managing to agree with each other, really well spoken. And I really enjoyed that because that insight into their lives and how they think about certain things in the Philippines. And like I've mentioned before, and I'll mention again, I really do want to see the Philippines grow, and I have seen it grow, but of course there's always things to work on in every place. I've mentioned this countless times. This is a fact, because keep in mind, the grass isn't always green on the other side. Everyone always says that. It's green where you water it. Remember that. The grass isn't greener on the other side. It's green where you water it. So take care, grow, love yourself. Make sure to always look at the good. Yes, take account of the bad, but please don't forget the positive in your life. I love you guys. Thank you for everything, and thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hey, if you liked it, leave a like. If you loved it, subscribe. If you want more, let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, until next time, guys. Peace.
How good you been living? Wait, how good you been living? I've been living too good for you. I've been living too. Did what I did and I do it again. Every move that I make, I ain't feeling repent. Nobody believes to believe it's a friend, and you question your moves like you really won't end. Really?